excited for today's conversation about growing a brand on TikTok. And I am so happy to be here with Erica Rankin of Brodo. I know everyone here probably knows Erica. You are a TikTok and LinkedIn genius and building an awesome product and an awesome brand. And then recently started teaching people about how to grow their organic marketing using TikTok and other platforms as well. So super excited here. I'd love for you just to give a quick rundown for those who might not know the full story of Brodo, your kind of approach to market and how you see kind of growing organic marketing in general.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm so excited to have this conversation, and thanks to everyone who came. So yeah, my name is Erica. I'm the founder of Brodo, which is a protein-infused, better-for-you edible cookie dough. I'm based out of Ontario, Canada. And I'm pretty much a solopreneur, and I've been going at this for almost 2 years now. And I have limited resources, limited capital. So I've kind of taken a different approach to marketing. I think over the past 2 years, I've spent less than $1,500 on marketing. Some of that's been on paying influencers and doing that. I've done a little bit of paid ads, but most of my traffic has been completely organic. And the past 6 or so months has pretty much been coming from TikTok, which is something that I never really envisioned. And I think in March, I had my first viral video, which is kind of like a weird random story. I posted a TikTok late at night. I remember getting ready for bed. It took me 2 minutes to put together. It was basically just like a collage of like videos of the dough being mixed in the mixing bowl. Then I went to bed, and then I woke up the next day and I heard like my Shopify like cha-ching noise going off, just like over and over and over. And I was like, something is really wrong. This is not right. Something is wrong. Because I had my TikTok notifications turned off. And then I went to Instagram, and then I had all these messages, and I had a lot of emails as well from like angry Americans because I can't sell my product to the States. So they're like, what is this? Like, how come I can't buy your product? And then I went to TikTok, and my video had like a couple 100,000 views. And then I started getting thousands of followers. And then it went from 5,000 to 10,000 to 15,000 from this one video. And I was so panicked because I'm so small and I don't really track my inventory to a T. So I was like, oh my God, what if I oversell my inventory? So I messaged my friend, and we went to the kitchen at like 11 p.m. that night for like 5 hours and just made as much product as we physically could. And then, yeah, like I think I sold out my inventory. I pick and packed 150 orders from that one TikTok. And since then, I've grown my following to over 130,000 followers since that video.
Oh my gosh. So that's so cool. I know a lot of people on here, including myself, and maybe you when you just get started, were like I know, like generally know TikTok, but like not think about it as a relevant business platform, right? And have no idea how to jump in. So just to set some kind of context too, you're primarily selling just like D2C online, right?
Yeah, so I'm D2C just across Canada, and then I'm in like a couple local like mom and pop shops.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you have the kind of D2C business first. I know you're going to be expanding into grocery soon, so maybe we can talk about that strategy a little bit more later as well. And why did you first decide to pick up TikTok? Was it just like trying it out and seeing how it worked, or what kind of made you first pick it up?
Honestly, my friend. So my friend, she is a distributor slash seller for a company called Paper Shoot Camera. And it's basically like an eco-friendly cardboard camera in comparison to a disposable camera. You can just reuse it, and it has a memory card and batteries you can put in it. So she found a video on TikTok and got into this business. And she hired a girl to make TikToks for her. And that's the only form of marketing she had. She's like, you know what? TikTok is where my consumers are. I'm going to try to build a TikTok and use that for marketing. So she paid this girl $1,000 per month to basically make 5 TikToks a week. And she would just like post about the product. And it took a little bit, but she started to build her following. And I think, yeah, 1 month they did like $400,000 in sales just from TikTok. And then they sold out their inventory, and then they put in like the largest PO ever. And I was like, on the sidelines watching all this happening. Because we'd go out for lunch and stuff, and she's like, dude, like you need to get on there. And I was like, no, it's, you know, like I kind of like had an ego and stuff. I was like, it's for kids. Like I don't see myself being on there. And I think a lot of brands feel the same way. They're like, no, that's not the platform for me. But I think I saw the potential. And also now, like, also I looked into the statistics. So in the end of 2019 in Q4, I think TikTok had like 200 million downloads or something. And then from the end of 2019 to 2020, when the pandemic started, it had 100 plus million additional downloads. So it's just the growth has been crazy, and there's so many people on there. It's not just kids. Like there are fathers that go on there. There's moms who go and they watch cooking videos. And I think like the really unique thing about TikTok is like the For You page. And if you're not sure what it is, basically when you download the app, if you're a first time user, they're going to give you a bunch of videos, and the algorithm is going to kind of figure out what you like. So say you have 10 videos on your For You page that you're watching, and 5 of them are food reviews, and all the other ones you skip, but then you watch the full length of the food review ones. It's going to take that information and be like, okay, this person really likes food reviews. So they're literally going to keep giving you food reviews on your For You page. So it's funny, you can kind of see if you have like a group of friends and you all compare your FYP, you can kind of figure out who the person is and what they like based on that, because you know what they're watching and what they're engaging with. Even like I saw a TikTok not that long ago of like a husband and wife, and the wife was like, this is my page, and it was like make homemade baby food and like cooking and all these like, you know, DIY things. And then the husband's was like landscaping, like look what I did, or like I'm fixing up my old car, and like all of these things, you know. So very completely different videos, because the videos made their way to the appropriate audience.
Oh my gosh. See, I love that. And I think that you're right. Like there's a huge misconception in terms of who's using TikTok. And I think primarily like it started off with a lot of like teenagers and like younger kids using it a couple of years ago. But I remember just especially like at the beginning of the pandemic and going through it, like a lot of people are at home, a lot of people have more time on their hand and just like want to do more aimless, not aimless, but like kind of just like aimless scrolling a little bit and just like watching like, oh, what can I do this waste like 5 minutes? Like I don't want anything serious. I just want something fun to jump into. And with, you know, probably 300 million plus people on there, like that's a sizable amount of people. Like it's just not kids on there. There's tons of adults and all different kind of groups who are on the platform. And even when you look at the creators, right, it's almost all age ranges now, which is really cool. So I think that's awesome in terms of like the platform is growing. There's definitely a path towards like making money, and you've been able to monetize and convert those followers in. But how long do you think that kind of took while you're like building your videos and your profile and your followers before you started seeing like any actual like orders or anything come from the platform?
So the thing with TikTok, like I was not very consistent with it. So I downloaded it in 2020. I had like my personal platform or my personal account, and then I had a business one. But with my business one, it's like very discouraging if you're like regularly making content and you're not getting any like return out of it. Like you're taking the time to make it and put it together, and you're like, this is gonna be it. And then you get like 20 views and like 2 comments, and the comments are basically making fun of you. Like I got a comment once and it was like, damn, 3 likes, that's rough. And I tried so hard in that video. So I think like the key like is to post every day. Like before I went viral, I was posting sometimes like 2 times a day, or like making sure that I'm always on there. Cause the more you post, as long as that's still content tailored towards your audience, you want it to get to the right people, the greater the chance that you're going to go viral. So I think like if I were to give anyone a piece of advice, it'd be post every single day. And you don't necessarily have to like make content every day. Like I time block. So like, for example, on Thursday or Friday, like in the mornings, usually I'm the most creative. Like I will not make TikToks at the end of the day, because that's just, I don't want to be doing that. I'm tired. But yeah, so I basically just time block and I make as many TikToks as I can at once. And then I just save them in my drafts, and then I upload them throughout the week.
No, I think that's a really great plan of actually like planning it onto your schedule, just like you might do, you know, Instagram posts or other things. How do you decide what content to create?
A lot of trial and error. I think like I've been very lucky because I am basically my ideal customer. So try to get in the mind of your customer and what they like and what they want to see. Like, let's say, I don't know, for example, like Susie York, her audience, like with Love Good Fats, is like kind of like a mom who's like cares about her diet or like someone who's keto. So you would create content that's tailored for that person. You wouldn't just be making content um, for all ages or all audiences because you want to make sure that the algorithm figures out where to put your content. So with me, like a lot of my audience is kids, like Gen Z, millennials, and they're like really, really into like trends and like dances and all of that. So I really try to put content out like revolving around that.
And then are you watching or kind of keeping up with like the TikTok trends and then kind of like building a list of that and then replicating it? Or do those pieces tend to get more views?
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like the earlier you can get on a trend, the better. And I follow a couple accounts that they basically do that. Like they kind of watch and see what videos perform really well. A really good one to follow is Wave Wild. So it's WAVE WYLD. And basically what she does is she figures out what's performing really well at a really rapid rate. And the earlier you can get on that bandwagon and get that content out there, the better it'll perform. And another thing too, like even using popular sounds, those videos are going to perform a lot better than a sound that is not very popular because the algorithm is going to look at that and it's going to be like, okay, this sound is doing really well, or this video is doing really well, and we're going to push it to more people because it appears to be doing well. Because before, I think the mistake that I was doing was I would make a video and I would just pick whatever sound that I liked personally. And then it would get no views. And then I'd go and click that sound, and you can see how many videos it has and how well it's performed. And if it's not doing well, then TikTok is going to take that as, oh, people aren't going to like it. So they're not going to push it as to many people.
Oh, that's a good advice because I think it's like a lot of times, people might say like stand out by doing something different, but it also helps to like follow trends because that's what people are getting the most, that's what's getting the most attention, the most views. Um, okay, that makes sense on there. And then I hear from founders all the time where people say like, I'm not creative. I don't like being in front of the camera. What would you recommend for them?
It's funny because I was the same way. And it takes like, you just have to do it more and more. But if you're really like, you don't want to do it, then I suggest like outsourcing and hiring someone. You can either do this through like Upwork or you put out a feeler on LinkedIn, post a job, even hiring a customer. Like I've seen people do that as well. Like someone who knows the product, understands who your audience is. And also too, you can find someone on TikTok. Like even if you don't want to make your own TikTok and like blow up your TikTok yourself, you can use TikTok influencers. And like a really good story is Nerdy Nuts. Like I'm not sure if you've heard of them, but they're like they were a smaller peanut butter brand, and basically their first TikTok blew up, and they did $500,000 in sales from their TikTok. And they were talking about influencer marketing and how on Instagram they weren't really generating a lot of sales through Instagram influencers. And Instagram influencers usually expect to be paid, and it's usually not very cheap. Whereas usually on TikTok, TikTok influencers are happy to post your product for free product. So that's what I've been doing as well. Like I've been looking up even like some of my followers who have pretty big followings. Like I've sent them product, they've made reviews and stuff, and then you can also repurpose that content as well.
No, I love that. And yeah, getting it from the influencers or its content both on their page and on your page. And yeah, it sounds like the early days of Instagram when like people were more open to getting like free product and trying it out and actually having that reach their audience. And I love that trick of not trick, but recommendation of like using your existing customers or people that follow you to repost because those are the ones that are going to be closer to your audience and that who like understand and get TikTok as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Manoli had a question. He said, are you able to correlate like views with sales, or is it more so just like a timing thing?
So I think that Shopify just like integrated TikTok. Like I'm not sure because you know how you can look at your analytics and stuff and see where your traffic's coming from.
Yeah.
So a lot of I can kind of see based off of like if a video does really well, then I kind of get sales immediately after. So I can't really track directly. But I hope to figure that out and I hope Shopify integrates it or if think they're testing it with a select amount of people. But yeah, like usually how people find me is they click directly on my TikTok page where my website is, or they go to my Instagram and then they come from my Instagram.
Okay, cool. No, that makes sense. Are you able to put links? I actually don't use TikTok that much, but are you able to put links like in the like comments on the post, or do they have to kind of go through your profile?
So I don't think links are clickable on comments. I know in your bio, like another thing too, like if you have your TikTok account set up, make sure it's set up as a personal account and not a business account. Because usually you don't get as much engagement or views if you're set up as a business account, and they don't allow you to use a lot of trending sounds, like due to copyright, I think. Because that's a mistake that I made. I went to go do a business account and you can like put in your link and everything, but you have restricted access to certain things and sounds on there. Um, and then also, I would not do creator. Like in Canada, we don't have the ability to be a creator, and that's where you can earn money by being on TikTok. Like the more views you get, I don't even know how much it is, like 5 cents per every 100,000 views or something like that. But that also can kind of limit your ability to go viral and get more views. Um, and then I think when you have less than 1,000 followers, you're not able to have a clickable link in your bio. So once you get above that, then when you put the link in, people can click it.
Awesome. Have you how do you think about like building your community on TikTok? Like are you able to like see regular people who are like watching or engaging, or does it seem like there's just like new people coming in all the time?
It's kind of like a little community, and I see a lot of the same people like commenting on my stuff, and even like people who aren't even Canadian, have never had my product, like are always there and supporting me, which is like pretty cool. And I think like the unique thing about TikTok is the candidness and like the rawness and realness, and they can kind of see you and connect with you on a different level. And you can also include them in things. So I always try to make a point to duet. So duetting, if you're not familiar with it, it's basically you can put a video beside another video. So when customers post reviews of my product and they're trying it and they put a TikTok up on it, I make sure to duet it, and then I like do like a live reaction or whatever and then tag them in it. And then that way they get exposure to my followers. And then my followers see that and they're like, oh my gosh, if I post a TikTok, maybe I'll get exposed to all her followers. So then it usually gives incentive for them to post content about my product.
Ooh, that's awesome. I like that trick.
Yeah.
And then Eric or Emily had a question. She asked, how do you blend your talking about your personal story with um, more content about the Brodo product?
So I guess like, do you mean like, yeah, I don't know. Cause like, it's really difficult because my personal life, like I'm immersed in this business. It's basically just like intertwined. So I think I kind of just humanize my whole experience of being a business owner, and a lot of people like that. I think that's the piece that like larger corporations are missing, is the ability to connect with their audience and their consumer on a deeper level. And that's kind of been my mission since day one, is to just be as open and honest and vulnerable as possible. And also too, because my audience is very young, like I like showing them what they're capable of achieving, and I kind of take them through everything that I do as a business owner. So I recommend doing that too, like to everyone else who's a startup, like kind of show them both sides of the coin, not really just the side that you want them to see, because I think they really appreciate that.
That makes a ton of sense. Yeah, it's just having that personal connection with the audience really helps. What other tips do you use, or have you seen, or have you learned?
Yeah, there's a lot. So I think with hashtags, like there's been a huge misconception with them. I'm not too familiar with them on Instagram, and I don't know how many you should be using and what works and what doesn't. But with TikTok, in your caption, you only have so many characters. So you want to try to fit in as many hashtags as you possibly can, because this helps with the algorithm as well as it gives the ability to people to find you if they're looking up that hashtag. Like for example, I always use, I think Canadian business as a hashtag. And my friend who had that camera company, she went and clicked the hashtag randomly, and one of my videos was at the top of it. And she was like,
Nice.
took a screenshot and sent it to me, and she's like, dude. And I was like, yeah, I got lucky. That video did really well. So usually you want to use more specific niche or hashtags for whatever you're doing. Like if you're a hot sauce company, use the hashtag like hot sauce company. If you're I don't know, Canadian business, Canadian TikTok, Canadian business. Don't use FYP or For You page because they're such large hashtags. Okay. Am I good? Am I frozen?
Yeah, no, you're good. No, those are
Okay.
really good. Yeah,
Sorry.
no,
My internet's like very spotty. But yeah, so the thing with like larger hashtags like FYP, they have millions of videos. So your odds of getting at the top are very slim because when you go to click a hashtag, the videos that perform the best and have like the most views, likes, comments, it'll go from most engaged to least engaged. So the more narrow your hashtag is, the more likely you are to be at the top of the hashtag, and then you'll have more visibility. And then the other thing too, like put your company name in the hashtag. So like I always do hashtag Brodo. And if someone is scrolling and they see my video and they're watching it for the full length and they're commenting and liking it, the algorithm is going to think that, oh, okay, this person likes Brodo, like the hashtag Brodo. And then all the other videos that I put out with that hashtag, they'll have a greater chance at getting on that person's For You page.
yeah, that's awesome. It sounds like people are still utilizing like hashtags a lot on TikTok, whereas I think on Instagram it can be a little bit of a little bit of a mix if they're still using it or not.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Any other tips or things that you've learned?
Um, honestly, so apparently, like I'm not sure, I read this somewhere that videos or accounts that have people in them perform like 35% better than those who do not. So it kind of comes down to like, oh, I don't want to be in my TikTok videos. Like I would recommend hiring someone if you don't want to do it yourself, because it's gonna perform a lot better than if it doesn't. There are some accounts that have done really well, like Crumble Cookies, for example. Like they don't really have anyone in their videos. They just kind of show like cookies and cookie dough and all of that. But just from my experience, like Scrub Daddy is one that does really well. Like I'd recommend following them. Beaver Tails, like they do really well. They have great engagement and they're building their following. And then my friend's Paper Shoot Camera, like they're another one to look into, but it's very consistent and like the audience always knows what they're going to be getting and it's the same person. And I think that's why people go on TikTok, is because it is the most authentic platform in comparison to any other platform. And people like connecting with people. So that's like one tip that I would give to anyone who's starting out on TikTok is like show your face, like be present, try to connect with your audience.
I love that. Um, what I want to do as well, since we're about halfway through, is we've gotten some good questions. If anyone has any other questions, you feel free to jump on camera. We can ask those to Erica directly, or you can also add those into the chat as well. Emily asked if you'd be able to list those companies that you recommend following again so that she can write those down.
There we go. I just typed it in.
Perfect. And then Manuli asks, as you're kind of moving into grocery and brick and mortar stores, is your strategy going to change at all on TikTok?
So I basically am going to keep the same strategy, but I'm going to start implementing, I guess, additional TikToks that kind of will be basically me going to the grocery store, showing where people can find it, kind of educating my consumers about where to get the product. Like I think that is definitely something I'm going to be doing, even though like a large portion of my audience is in the States. But yeah, like I think kind of doing the same thing too. You can also do paid ads on TikTok. It's a little bit of a newer thing. And I have some friends that are kind of like experimenting with it, but you can kind of target to certain demographics and areas and kind of like be like, hey, like my product is available at Target or wherever. And then they'll see that and they'll be like, oh, okay. And then they'll go there. So yeah, that's kind of my strategy.
Awesome. And then another question by Emmy. What are the most important things to keep in mind when you're actually filming each video?
So don't use filters. Like that's one thing that I see is like people use like filters and it just makes it really gritty and like kind of hard to see. And I wouldn't do that. Kind of keep in mind where you put the text. Because on a TikTok, like the caption takes up a lot of the bottom portion of the TikTok. And if you're putting text in there, when you post it, people aren't going to be able to read it because it's going to be covered. So those are some things to keep in mind. The length of your video as well. Like usually longer videos don't perform as well as shorter videos. So if you were to post a 1 minute long video and they you post it, it gets spit out to a bunch of different random people to figure out if it's a good video or a bad video, right? And then based off of the user's behavior, they'll push it or they'll hold it from people. So if you watch 59 seconds of a 60-minute video or 60-second video, it's going to view that as something that's performed really well. So then they're going to push it to more and more people. But if someone only watches like 10 seconds of it, TikTok is going to think, oh, okay, this is not a good video. And then it's not going to push it to as many people. So keep in mind the length of the video. I've seen like around TikTok that apparently like 7 seconds is the sweet spot. Because I think TikTok users have a shorter attention span than any other platforms users, just because it's so quick and you have to really capture the audience within that first couple seconds. Otherwise, they're just going to continue scrolling.
Yeah, that makes sense. Something just like really quick and punchy. And I've even found myself doing that, like just rewatching the same shorter video over again. If I was like something interesting or something that I missed there. And that
Yeah.
probably helps with engagement too.
Yeah, for sure.
And then are you reusing your TikTok videos on other platforms, like reposting on Instagram Reels?
Yeah. So that's like very interesting to me. So the audiences are very different on each platform is what I'm learning. Like I basically take my TikToks and I put them on a website. It's called SnapTik. I'll type it in. But yeah, so SnapTik is basically a website you go to and you upload your video, you put the link in, and then it removes the watermark. And then you can take it from there and then put it on Instagram. Because if you usually upload directly with the watermark, Instagram doesn't like TikTok and they're not going to push it to as many people. It might be a myth, it might not be a myth, but I do it anyways, just in case. And I don't post every single video that I put on TikTok on my Instagram, but I do some, and they usually get like between like 5 to 8,000 views. However, I did have a couple that did really well recently. Like I think one got 1.2 million views, another one got 500,000 views. But the audience is very different on Instagram. So I think that's something just to keep in mind.
Do you find that your audience is more on TikTok than Instagram?
Yeah, I think so. Especially because like a lot of kids like cookie dough, right? Like I've had a lot of like 13, 14, 15, 16-year olds like buy my product and love my product. So it's really like a good chunk of my customers are kids. And that's why I think they like my TikTok because it's kind of like the trends and cookie dough and it's fun. Whereas Instagram, I think like I don't know. I think Instagram is kind of dying out and they're really trying to like get on the TikTok bandwagon by implementing reels and they're kind of taking away the photo aspect of Instagram and they're really trying to focus on videos. Um, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting. Do you think that brands would might be do better, some might do better on Instagram Reels than TikTok?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, experiment with it. Like try both. I think again, like TikTok is a growing platform and there's more and more people on there. Like for example, like my co-packer found me on there randomly and he's like a father. And I was like, okay, so there's literally like a diverse group on there. And as long as you create the right content and you keep it consistent, it'll make its way to the right For You pages and it'll reach the right people. And then it'll kind of just be a chain reaction from there. But what I've noticed from TikTok is you have the ability to reach more people than Instagram Reels. Like I could have a video that gets 5 million views on TikTok and I'll take the same one and put it on Instagram and it might get like less than 10,000 views.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So it just really depends on like your content, if it's reaching the right people or not. Tyler just asked a question, I think I answered in the chat, where he asked the rate that you knew someone that was paying for like 5 posts a week. That was someone else. You weren't doing that. It was like $1,000 a month, right?
Yeah, that's what she was paying her. And then I think now she's like on a salary because they're like growing and that's their main source of or I guess where they're getting most of their customers from. The other thing too that they do that I'm going to start implementing is affiliation marketing. And I know this is like a subject that's very controversial. Like some people don't really agree with it, but I personally think it works for a lot of brands. There's different, I think Growth Hero, I could be wrong, but there's different apps that you can get for your Shopify, and you actually go to like a third-party website and you can get links generated for your affiliates. So again, this is like what my friend did with affiliate marketing. Like I think some of her affiliates have made like $5,000 or $6,000 in a month through this, and they'll just get 10% of each order whenever someone goes to their profile and buys through their link. So that's like incentive for them to continue to post content on their TikTok or Instagram, whichever platform they choose. And then the other great thing too is that you can take that content and then you can repost it and you can put it on your platform.
No, that's awesome. I just posted the link to growthhero.com. Yep, it's a Shopify affiliate platform. So you say you're thinking about using that?
Yeah, so I'm gonna try when I have like all my new branding and everything, and when I launch this fall, that's something that I think I'm gonna do.
Okay. Yeah, it's been interesting, like just watching affiliate models in general for food, because like I find that the order value on a lot of food, right, is like relatively low. And affiliates may or may not make like any money for it right away. It's not like, I don't know, some like fancy luggage that's $800 or something like that, where their commission is much higher for first offer. It might be like $80 instead of like $4. And so
Yeah.
it's interesting to see like how that's going to work.
Yeah, you should look just like Google Nerdy Nuts TikTok.
Okay.
And they'll talk about like they took screenshots between them and their affiliates, and because they implemented the same program. And I think some of them made like $500 a month, and that's like a good chunk of money for like minimal work for them. And they're like, oh my gosh, like this is more than my whatever, my paycheck. Like I'm so down, like let's keep doing this. Like they're excited and hyped about it. And then they get free product as well. So
Gotcha. Yeah, I just saw there's like a link for that there, which is really cool. Um, and then do you think that certain products do like in terms of the accounts that have more successful products on TikTok, do you think there's a certain like trend or like types of products that do better?
um I don't know. I've seen like tons of different things on TikTok, like whether it be tech related or food related. Like I think as long as you craft your content for your targeted audience, it'll be successful. Um, yeah.
Okay. Manuli had a question. He says, your well-deserved success is obviously a function of your product brand and your own persona. How are you balancing that from a brand building perspective?
Um, so thank you very much. What does that mean? Balancing?
If I was to translate, I think he's thinking that like you're very much like at the center of your brand. Are you planning to kind of keep it that way or make it more into like more about the product, or are you always going to be kind of like the face of the brand and all the marketing?
So yeah, that's like one of the things that I think I'll always be doing. Like I kind of like looked at my weak points and my strong points and what I like and what I don't like. And I love marketing and I never thought I would, but I love making TikToks and I love Instagram and I love talking to my customers and building out that relationship. So I'm probably going to keep doing that. And I'm kind of offloading other areas of the business to other people to help me. But yeah, I think like that's the one thing that I have to keep doing is putting out content with me in it, because my customers kind of know my brand through me. Like I kind of come with the brand. Yeah.
You mean you didn't love like working those overnight shifts making brodo?
Literally the bane of my existence. Honestly, yeah, that's like, yeah, I just took a step back and I was like, I can't do this anymore. And then, yeah, now my co-man can take care of all of that because I just, it's not mine. It's not my job anymore.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I think that's so key, right? Like figuring out the part of the business that you love. And like you didn't think that you loved doing TikTok necessarily, but you've like really grown into it and become your own like brand and presence as well, which really resonates. And then yeah, the other piece is find someone else who enjoys that or who's better at it.
Yeah.
And probably vice versa too. Like if there's a final, like even personally, like I'm not the like I don't love just being I'm on camera all the time, but I don't love like just shooting videos solo. I like having conversations with people. So like I don't have a TikTok or do a lot of like video solo. And so I'm kind of adapting by doing more videos like actually talking to people, having conversations, like involving other people in them, which is more naturally for me. And so I
Yeah.
always recommend people like find what's natural for them. And if it's not, then find someone else who's like really good at it. But I like your advice of having like, one or maybe like two people who are consistent in the videos so that people can begin to like recognize like, oh, when I see Erica, I know what content I'm going to be getting before you even start talking.
Yeah, yeah. It all comes down to consistency, like whether it be with your content, like whatever you're putting out, and then the amount of times you're putting out stuff. Because you can't put out one or two TikToks a week and hope that it blows up because it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. Awesome. So back to our audience, anyone have experience like doing any TikToks or having questions about your content, what you're putting out there, or your strategy? Definitely happy to have you come up on video and ask that question to Erica directly.
Maybe not.
I always like to give a nice like awkward silence to see if anyone like
Yeah.
pops up. I tend to talk a lot.
Be anything.
um,
It could be anything. Anything, social media or
so while we wait, if you have a question, feel free to jump on board too. Any other like lessons of what not to do that we haven't talked about?
um yeah. I guess yeah, I kind of touched on like you make sure you're using stuff that's trending. Like don't just use audio that you personally like and you think fits the video because it's not going to perform as well. And if you're doing like a speaking video, make sure that you have some sort of audio in the background and make sure that it's a trending sound. Even if you don't want music in the background, you can go on the app and turn the volume all the way down before you upload that video. So there will be no sound, but TikTok will still see that that sound is used in there, and then it'll push it to more people.
And that's kind of interesting then. So how many of your videos have you speaking versus just having music?
Um, yeah, like I guess because I do a lot of trends. So like with the trends, like the dancing videos and stuff, I'm not speaking in them and they usually perform really well. And then like for example, I did a video on like making protein cookies or like talking about the brand, or I'm in my car and I have like audio in the background. It's just turned down pretty low. But I always make sure that it's an audio that's trending and that's performing well on the platform.
Got it. That makes sense. Um, all right. So if there's any other questions about TikTok, feel free to jump those into the chat. The other thing I want to talk with you about as well is your LinkedIn persona as well, because you're also like posting content on LinkedIn every day and it's super awesome. It's very authentic and personal and like sharing your story. So talk about your kind of journey with LinkedIn and how do you see the difference between LinkedIn and TikTok? I know completely different audiences, but how are you kind of thinking about that?
So I got on LinkedIn in I think like a year ago now, and I had 12 connections, and I didn't really understand the platform, and I didn't really know what networking was, honestly. And I kind of resorted to the platform because I was burnt out and I didn't know how to grow the company. So I started connecting with people who were in the industry and started messaging people and kind of asking for help and finding mentors. Um, and I think like what really discouraged me was I would go on my like homepage on LinkedIn and scroll, and it would just be like, I fundraised X amount of dollars, or I landed X amount of accounts. And I was like, everything was going wrong in my life. And I felt really discouraged. And I felt like my circumstances were unique and no one else was experiencing the things that I was going through. And then I started talking to other founders and I was hearing about their L's and like what was going wrong in their life. And I didn't understand why nobody talked about it. Again, it's like social media is very pretty and like oftentimes people only want you to see the one side. And sometimes it's also exaggerated. So you have to keep that in mind. So I decided to like post my whole journey, like the highs and the lows, and kind of just document it for my own sake. And then also have people follow along and create relatable content. And then I never really realized how big of an impact I had until I started getting messages from people from all over the world who basically are going through the same things and felt the same way that I felt because they looked around and they felt like what was happening was only happening to them. But LinkedIn has been really great. It's a different audience than TikTok, but it's allowed me to connect with founders, like gosh, like a crazy amount of people from all different industries who, like, even if they can't help me directly, they know someone who can help me. And yeah, it's been a great tool for sure.
I love that. How much time are you spending on like TikTok per week and on Instagram per week?
So Instagram, I barely spend time on.
Or I mean
It's
LinkedIn. Sorry.
LinkedIn. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So LinkedIn, I've cut back on. Honest to God, I was like a LinkedIn addict when I first got on there. And I had my Apple Watch and I had my notifications on, and like I did not get anything done. I would be at the gym and I'd get like my watch would be going off and I'm like, oh my God, someone commented on my post. And I just would drop what I was doing and just was sucked into the platform. So I ended up turning off my notifications and now I time block. So I try to go on for like an hour at night. And then I try to post like 5 or 6 times a week. So I spend less time on there, maybe an hour and a half a day. And then I take the weekends off from LinkedIn. TikTok, like I don't even want to tell you my screen time on that because it's so embarrassing. Because I
Oh
go on
yeah.
there too. Yeah, I go on there too. Like on my For You page, like I count it as doing homework, and I basically scroll. I scroll and then
Nice.
I try to find like videos that like I can copy or I can do, and then I favorite them, and I'm like, ooh, this will be good. I'm gonna do this, and I favorite it. And then I like when I go to my time blocking days, like my creative TikTok mornings, I go to all my favorited videos from like the night before or whatever, like 11 p.m. scrolling on TikTok, and then I recreate those videos. So yeah, I do spend a fair amount of time on TikTok. It's usually at night, like scrolling, and then on my content creation days, like maybe I take 2 hours a week to actually make them.
Nice. What I also hear from that story as well, which is powerful, is like don't try to be on every platform, right? Like you have TikTok and LinkedIn. It sounds like those are like the two platforms that you're on, but you're like not doing much on Instagram, or I'm pretty sure you're not doing anything on like Facebook, or like these other platforms. And so it's key to like really focus and then go all in, especially for like a time, right? Like you don't have to commit for years, but like try one or two platforms that you're using just consistently, like you're saying, like every single week, and give it, probably like 3 to 6 months to see what traction that you get before kind of switching to something else. Because I don't know, I found myself doing that too. Like if you're just posting like a couple things on a platform, it doesn't take off, it's easy to like jump ship and like, oh, this isn't working, it's a waste of time.
Yeah, I think that's a mistake a lot of brands do. I think is they try to do everything. And you'd rather like do one thing 100% than five things at 20%, you know? So really try to fixate and focus on one platform and try to do really well. And I think like the important thing too with TikTok is like don't get discouraged. Like keep posting even when you think you're not going to get any views because you never know. It's like Russian roulette, and it just takes one video for it to snowball and build.
That's awesome. Emily had a question too on how are you finding like trending videos?
So that account, the Wave Wilds, I have a couple others too that I can email you after, of just basically creators that are like TikTok helpers. Like they find trending sounds, they teach you how to do those trends. Basically, like when I first got on TikTok, I literally did not understand it at all. And I did not understand how to make a video. I didn't know how to like add in text and sounds, and I felt very old for the app, and I actually was called old in my comments for the
Oh
app.
no.
Yeah, so I felt very out of place and out of sorts, but yeah, these people are great. Like they're literally like have tutorials on everything. They're super helpful. But yeah, I can provide those as well. Thank you, Emily.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. And then how do you also balance your personal TikTok growth with your business? Like, are you only focused on your business growth really?
I have a personal one, but I don't really post on it. I haven't posted
No.
on it in a long time. I thought about it, but like my head will explode because then I'll feel like I have to post consistently on there, and it's hard enough keeping up with one platform.
One thing I see too, and may I just pull this up real quick, is looking at your TikTok is all of them have kind of this consistent look of like a, I don't know, you call it like a quote.
Oh yeah, that too. So yeah, basically before you, I never used to do this, but before you go to post your TikTok, there's little caption things, like little, you'll see there's like little bubbles, and you can pick what you want it to look like, and then you can type text in it. And this is good if someone wants to like find something on your page easily, like someone commented, can you make cookies out of it? And then I'm like, yeah, go to the video that says protein cookies, and they can scroll and click it. It's easier for them. And it basically, you just want to summarize what the video is in that overlaying caption.
Nice. Very cool. Um, awesome. Well, I think this is really cool. Let's see. Any other questions in the chat here? So yeah, Emily just wanted to clarify that you get better traction having it as a personal page instead of just a business page.
Yeah, make sure that it's set up as a personal one because I made the mistake of doing business. And you'll see if you go to try to use a trending sound or something, it'll say it's not available to business page accounts.
Got it. That makes sense. Awesome. So I think this is so great. I'm so happy we got a chance to talk, Erica. Any closing thoughts or suggestions or tips that you like to share?
Follow me. I want to see y'all grow, and I love being a part of everyone's journey with TikTok because it's so fun. And I think a lot of people underestimate the like what it can do for you and the organic reach that you can get from it. So just stay consistent with it and don't give up even when you feel like giving up.
Yep, that's great advice. Awesome. So many great comments in here. Thanking you. So Erica, thank you so much. And to everyone else, have a great weekend coming up as well. Have some fun. Take a little bit of time to relax before jumping back into the business for the week.
Yeah. Thank you so
We'll
much
talk
for
soon.
coming, guys. And thank you, Jordan.
Awesome. Talk to everyone soon. We'll send out a recording of the video after I edit it down next week. And so keep an eye out for that. Bye, everyone.
Awesome.